This year, 56 AD, Nero sends away his mother Agrippina. Paul the Apostle writes his second epistle to the Corinthians, and the kingdom of Goguryeo continues to expand its borders. Welcome to the Yearly Histories, where we will highlight the major events that take place in the Common Era, year by year. Last year, we saw the revolt of the Briton rebel Venutius in Britannia, Nero having his rival Britannicus killed, and Tiridates regaining the throne of Armenia with the help of the Parthians. We will kick off this year in Rome with the contentious relationship between Nero and his mother Agrippina reaching a breaking point. Nero has grown weary of his mother's influence and her constant interference in his rule. It is said that, early in his reign, he feared her, but over time, he came to recognize the true extent of his own power. In turn, she is forced out of the palace by Nero to live in the imperial residence, Villa Antonia, in Misenum. Despite these actions, Agrippina still, for the time being, retains some degree of influence over her son. Now it's time to catch up with the missionary activities of Paul the Apostle. Last time we heard from him, he had completed his second missionary journey, wherein he traveled through parts of Asia Minor and into Greece, establishing churches in cities like Philippi, Thessalonica, and Corinth. He was joined by several notable companions such as Timothy, Silas, and Luke, and focused on preaching to both Jews and Gentiles, or non-Jews, while strengthening the early Christian communities in the region. And approximately this year, currently in the midst of his third missionary journey, he writes one of his famous letters, his second epistle to the Corinthians, possibly while in Philippi. An epistle is a formal letter or written communication, often with moral, philosophical, or religious content. In the case of the second epistle to the Corinthians, it is a formal letter written by the Apostle Paul to the Christian community in Corinth, addressing theological issues, offering personal reflections, and providing guidance and encouragement in their faith. Paul's first epistle to the Corinthians, written around 53 to 54 AD, addressed divisions, moral issues, and questions about Christian life and worship, offering firm correction and practical guidance to a troubled church. In contrast, his second epistle is more personal and emotional, defending his apostleship, expressing deep concern for the community, and urging reconciliation and generosity. Just to the east, the Romans and General Corbulo continue to watch carefully as the Game of Thrones unfolds in Armenia. Corbulo was stationed in the region 2 years prior, and continues to make preparations for a possible intervention. But for now, King Tiridates still has control of Armenia with the backing of the Parthians, despite losing the throne during his first short year-long reign. Far to the east, the kingdom of Goguryeo continues its aggressive expansionist strategy. We saw their now 9-year-old king Taijo come to the throne in 53 AD after a power struggle in the aftermath of the assassination of King Moban. Goguryeo has been methodically annexing the minor states on their border for decades at this point, and now the target is placed on Okja to their southeast. Without much resistance, Okja is forced to become a tributary to Goguryeo. Even with a boy king on the throne, Goguryeo's creeping borders continue the relentless and methodical push outward. We will leave this year, 56 AD, with Nero sending his mother away to a villa in Misenum, Paul the Apostle writing his second epistle to the Corinthians, and the kingdom of Goguryeo advancing to the southeast. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to be notified when the next iteration of the Yearly Histories will be released. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next year in 57 AD to continue the fascinating stories of the world of antiquity and cover its major events.